been a busy day in the National Football League. Brian Robinson Jr. was traded to the 49ers. I've got reaction to that. It sounds like Adam Thielen could be returning to Minnesota, and Jerry Jones talks about Micah Parsons on the Stephen A. Smith Show. We break it all down here on 4 Verts. Let's talk about the trade first. B-Rob, who has been on the block for about a week now, the Commanders had made their intentions clear that they wanted to move him and roll with their other running backs, and the 49ers step up and send a 2026 6th-round pick. We know other teams are interested. I'm guessing most teams were offering a 7 or some kind of pick swap. Washington gets a 6 out of San Francisco, and I like the move. Robinson's a good downhill physical runner. He's not elite, but he's just solid, right? He's good in between the tackles, can catch the ball a little bit as well, almost 600 receiving yards in 3 years. I think it's a good compliment to Christian McCaffrey, who, look, the injuries have piled up over the years. Ideally, San Francisco can keep McCaffrey's workload a little bit down throughout the course of a 17-game season and hopefully a playoff run as well. Brian Robinson can eat carries, and they've had a lot of injuries there. Garendo's missed time. They obviously traded Jordan Mason in the offseason, so they just needed another back. So you go CMC, Brian Robinson, and then hopefully a couple of other guys can get in the mix there. But I think it's a win-win for everybody. Washington has their core. They get a pick out of it. San Francisco gets a proven runner to pair with McCaffrey. I think it's a good move for both sides, but I do really like it for San Francisco. I think he'll fit that Shanahan offense really well. All right, guys, challenge for you. The goal has been to reach 11,000 subscribers by the end of the preseason. Games end on Saturday night, so Sunday when I wake up, I want this channel to be at 11,000 subs. We're 84 away. We're grinding daily content here, NFL coverage every single day. Going to ramp up the college content too. Got my playoff prediction coming out probably next week. I know we got week 0 going on, but there's just been so much NFL news. We'll probably get to our playoff predictor next week. Might do an SEC preview as well, so be on the lookout for that. But 84 subs away. Can we get there? Let's make it happen. Hit the subscribe button right now. Okay, Adam Thielen to Minnesota is a homecoming in the works. Several reports have surfaced that there is interest from Minnesota's side. Adam Schefter had the scoop early this morning saying that the Vikings have inquired with Carolina about Thielen. Obviously, Jordan Addison's got the 3-game suspension. Jalen Naylor, is dealing with a hand injury. So Thielen could end up being their number 2 receiver opening night and in those opening few weeks for the Minnesota Vikings, which is critical because these are J.J. McCarthy's first starts. We'll talk more about that and that possible kind of homecoming, like I mentioned, here in just a moment. But I do want to tell you about our awesome sponsor. That is Prize Picks. Football is back. College football week 0 here. Preseason football rolling along. It doesn't get better than this time of year. Don't miss any of the action with Prize Picks. It's very easy to play Prize Picks as you just pick more or less on stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups. If you get your lineup right, you can win up to 2,000 times your money on certain Prize Picks lineups. Like I said, week 0 is here. Games on our screen tomorrow. And we got a special deal for you as you're halfway home to winning a 2-player lineup by taking more than a half passing yard for Avery Johnson. I also like Rocco Becht. More than 16.5 rushing yards to complete that 2-person lineup. $20 to win 60 if that hits. So take advantage of that. You can add more players to this lineup as well if you want to win more money. Get started today. Download the Prize Picks app right now. Use code CLNS to get $50 in the lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in the lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. Link and promo code in the comments and description of this video. Okay, Adam Thielen, who has kind of, I don't want to say turn back the clock, but remember when he left Minnesota and the Panthers signed him to a 3-year deal? We were like, 3-year deal? How is he getting more than a 1-year deal? Well, he puts up 1,000 yards his first year there, and that was the year Bryce Young was horrific. And then last year, he got hurt for a little bit, but in only 6 games, he was on pace to probably have another 1,000-yard season there. And his 12.8 yards per catch last year, that was the highest since 2019. So he has shown he's got plenty of juice left in the tank, and obviously he's familiar with Kevin O'Connell's offense. Him and J.J. McCarthy have worked out the last couple of years. Our good friend Ricky, a.k.a. Slick Rick Scoops, has said that Adam Thielen is returning to the Vikings, so he's saying this is happening. Now, there's no reported reported done deal as of yet. I know Diana Rossini added something along the lines of that there's interest there, but not a ton of movement so far. So we'll see. But clearly Minnesota, which has been reported to be wanting to add to that receiver room, I think they're looking at this and saying, hey, we can't just go Justin Jefferson and a bunch of question marks for the first 3 weeks of the season because Jordan Addison's not going to be there. Jalen Naylor's dealing with an injury, and he wasn't having a great camp anyway. And in an NFC and an NFC North that could be very competitive, you can't afford to potentially start 1-2, 0-3. You want J.J. McCarthy to build some confidence early, and so you bring in Adam Thielen if it happens. He's your wide receiver 2 early on, and then once Addison is back, it's a pretty formidable trio. Jetta, one of the best in the game. Addison, arguably the best wide receiver 2 in the game, if not one of the best. And then Adam Thielen, who is a very capable wide receiver 3, who knows the offense, not much of a learning curve there, has gotten off-season reps with J.J. McCarthy, so a pretty seamless transition if they pull this off. So I like the fit if it happens. We'll see if it does. Who wins the NFC North? If you think it's the Bears, type CHI. If you think it's the Lions, type DET. Packers, type GB. If you think it's the Vikings, type MIN. I think it's going to be one of the best divisions in football. Give us your thoughts down in the comment section below. Okay, Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones. The feud is ongoing. Jerry did an interview with Stephen A. Smith on his YouTube show, and he basically gave this minute-long answer on the negotiation process with Micah, and he also later said that we have him for at least 3 years. In other words, the 5th-year option this year, and they can franchise tag him twice. They have team control, which, look, there is some truth to that. Now, whether or not Micah Parsons plays under those circumstances, that remains to be seen. As far as the answer on the kind of minute-long, he gave this weird classic Jerry analogy of, when a kid goes to mama and asks mama for dessert before dinner and she says no, but then he goes to daddy's room who just got off work, hasn't been home all day, doesn't want to deal with this, and he says yes, I'm not playing that game. That's what Jerry said. He says that's what's happening here. He's referring to the agent as dad. That's what he's saying, because he later said there's no room for a third in these negotiations, and I'm like, I can appreciate the old school nature of Jerry. When he's doing all these oil deals back in the 80s and he's partnering with Papa John's and all this other stuff, it's him and the person he's dealing with. That's not the NFL. You have to deal with the agent. He wants to work around the agent. That's not the NFL in 2025. And look, I get it. David Mulugheta is very difficult to deal with, it sounds like. He is a no-nonsense guy. He does not give discounts. He has set several record-breaking deals, and I see people bitch on the internet about this guy, and I'm like, kind of just sounds like he's doing his job to me, and they won't even talk to him. So it's like, I don't know what he expects. Clearly he feels like Micah did him wrong because he felt like a deal was in place or almost in place, and then, the agent calls and says, we got to start this thing from scratch. And I get being frustrated by that, but that's just how it is, man. 99 times out of 100, the agent is going to be heavily involved and going to have influence. You have these rare cases where a player doesn't have an agent. That's not the case here. So I think Jerry thinks he can just leave the agent out of it, but Micah has made it clear that that is not going to be the case. Now, as far as a trade goes, if you listen to what Jerry says and take him for his word, it's pretty unlikely. Again, he said, we've got him for 3 years, referring to the 5th-year option this year and 2 franchise tag years that they would have at their disposal as well. There was also a report from Jeremy Fowler that it would take a Herschel Walker type of offer, which, if I remember correctly, I think was basically like a whole draft worth of picks, so that's not going to happen. But Mike has also made his intentions clear. He requested a trade a few weeks ago, and he wiped his social media. It says, Penn State 2021, TBD. The photo of his avatar or whatever you want to call it is like a Micah verse deal there, and then it's his Penn State times when they played in the Cotton Bowl or whatever. This is going to be fascinating. Jerry Jones also told Stephen A. this will be a good one, talking about the negotiation. And you listen to Jerry, it's like he just loves the game. The documentary comes out. It's just perfect. This is Jerry winning. This is how he wins. He controls the media. He controls the narrative. We're all talking about this circus, and he knows deep down in the end he's just going to end up paying him. But guess what? He was in the headlines every single day. It's just, you got to give it to him. I mean, he's lost, I would say, at least a step, if not multiple, but deep down, he still kind of has it from controlling the media circus. Even if it's not like positive PR, he's the ultimate example of all press is good press. I mean, not to go down a rabbit hole, but he literally had a child where he paid off the mother a couple years ago, and everybody's like, ha, just Jerry, no big deal whatsoever. That story just went away. It's absolutely hilarious, but not that specific situation, but Jerry in a nutshell, you know what I mean. All right, will Micah get extended? I mean, we're 13 days away. 2 weeks from yesterday, it's Cowboys-Eagles. Will he get a new deal before week 1? Type Y for yes and for no. And what we all want to know is if he doesn't, does he show up? Because Brian Schottenheimer thinks he will. I don't know if Brian Schottenheimer thinks he's established himself enough to put his nuts on the table like that, but he said it. So it'll be interesting to see over the next few days. All right, that's going to do it for Verts. Appreciate the love, the support, the continued appreciation for our videos. You guys are awesome. Let's get over the finish line. Let's get to 11,000 subscribers by Sunday. I would appreciate it. We'll see you guys soon here on the channel.